I'm Matt Braunger. This might help.
I am not a doctor.
This might help.
I'm not a professional.
Let's have fun. This honestly is a good time.
Honestly, I got no idea what I'm doing. What's going on? Who are you?
I'm Matt Braunger. This might help. The podcast.
Hey, welcome to another episode of This Might Help with Matt Braunger, your favorite advice podcast that does not want to be an advice podcast. Guys, I have an awesome guest today. Someone who, these days, we look alike. It didn't used to be like that. But maybe I'm following his footsteps. But I'm a huge fan of his, and he's a friend. He's one of the funniest guys out there, Dad Chaniels. Chad, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You look great. I mean, I'm not just saying that because you say we look alike, but I'm saying you look better. It's like,
thanks.
Yeah, I'm whatever you're losing, I'm finding.
Hey, did the pandemic, did it affect you physically in good or bad ways? Or
No, I just stopped giving a shit. It had nothing to do with, I mean, I'd love an excuse, but I really was like, I'm 46.
yeah.
And my kids are pretty much grown. My youngest is a senior in high school. So it's like, now what I'm going to do is just turn into my couch. I'm going to physically sit on my couch, shovel it in until no one knows I'm on my couch.
I love it. I'm actually jealous because I love my kid, but she's so young that I'm just like,
Right.
the fight has just begun, and she's very strong and
Sure.
has like a lot of tensile weight. So when I carry her a long time, it's just like I put her down and I feel it in my hips and all these places you never
Sure.
used to feel, weight and stuff. And I'm definitely exercising more, but to help with that. But I feel like it's 15 years ago, it's like, oh, I'm working out to sweat out the beer from last night. And
Right,
now,
exactly.
Now I'm working out to be able to carry my child and not have a physical breakdown kind of thing.
Yeah, I was lucky. I had kids young. So
Mhm.
like my daughter played soccer this year, her senior year, and I got to go down to the field and like actually run around with her and stuff like that. I know that that's why I'm letting myself go now. I feel like I've done it. I don't have to be one of the grandpas that gets down and makes a sandcastle. I'll just be like the foreman pointing stuff out. Just like, that goes there. The bridge is going to need to go here. Just in my chair drinking beer. I just don't care anymore. But I just talked to Augie Smith, who just had a baby a year ago.
Yep.
And he's 50. And it's like, I mean, he has older kids. So having a new baby, that's like when you shiv someone in the yard right before you're about to get out of prison. And they just reset your sentence. It's just like, oh, shit, I'm going back in. I'm going back in.
He's like the old man who raised birds in Shawshank that couldn't handle the outside world. So he got, he's just like, I gotta.
Brooks was here. Yeah.
Thinking of I want to steal or whatever, just so I could put back in. He's like, I can't deal with this non-kid life, man. You're the opposite. You're like, I'm out of Shawshank. You're like, I'm just going to be like free once this last one moves out.
When they started talking about parole for me, I was like, well, maybe we should have a medical procedure on my testicles just to make sure I don't mess this up. Put me in solitary just so I don't punch anybody and get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. And you just start committing a series of relatively harmless misdemeanors, so you couldn't never be considered for adoption, kind of thing. Just like public drunkenness, like on the record, like a few times, just drunk in a food court. So like just so a cop sees it and brings you in and is like, all right, like this is going on your record. You're like, sweet, please.
Yeah.
Do you need another mug shot? Because just in case my wife is like, I want to adopt. Like, I would love to, but I can't.
I'm going to need an updated mug shot because I'm trying to look like my couch. Would that work for you guys?
And I need some time. I used to have a joke that would like never land, but it was like, if you really want to get in shape, find out they're going to make a statue of you, like to scale. It's just too many moving parts for that dumb joke, but it's like that is the thing of like I have to get fat in a week because this mugshot it's gotta be horrible and my skin has to be terrible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I got married, That's the fattest I've ever been. And I did it on purpose because I know everyone loses weight for their marriage photos.
Yes.
But then it's like 3 years later, you both look at each other and like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I decided to get as fat as possible for my wedding. So no matter what happened after that, I could just go back to a normal diet
Yes.
and then still look better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like submitting a synopsis for your term paper that's like 2 sentences, and they just don't expect like, all right, it's not gonna be that long.
Exactly.
I can't. I do get a kick out of people on Facebook and stuff that are just like, can't believe it's only been 2 years, and you see the picture that they're on a beach and they look so healthy, and now the dude's just a fat piece of shit. Like he just like that. It is that thing of people go, I'm getting married and then I'm done because I'm off the market and fuck my spouse. Like whatever. Yeah, they're gonna have a fat husband. Or...
Sure. Well, I did it opposite. When I got married, like I said, fattest I've ever been, then got in shape, then got divorced, now decided to get fat again because it's like, I'm out. I'm off the market.
Sure.
And I'm on the market, but I'm taking myself off the market.
I get it.
I just like to enjoy what I have.
Yes.
And yeah, absolutely. And the people that come on, like you said, Facebook, especially when they're bragging about their new appearance, and it's like, oh, you son of a bitch. Give it 2 years. You're going to be regretting. This is not going to age well.
Oh no. Yeah. Anytime someone posts a picture of like been working hard, this is my body now kind of thing. It's like, you're really setting yourself up. You're
or like this happened with my sister when she left treatment. I mean, this is a long time ago. She's been sober forever, but and she really wanted to tell me about my having a couple beers a week. And it's like, hey, this isn't going to turn into meth. So why don't you cool your jets? And it's, or when someone loses weight and they see you face to face and they go, oh, having a little trouble with the diet, huh? And it's like, listen, bitch, your stopping drinking was court ordered. My kids don't flinch when I enter the room, so why don't you relax? I mean, you lost weight, you're barely hanging on, so I'm glad you feel better, but let's give it a little time.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, it's that's why it's called working on yourself. You are not the emissary.
Right. Yeah.
I always loved it how every rapper or pro athlete, as soon as they were born again, there's like, I'm God's chosen one. It's like, no, or you're one of the flock and should just shut up and be quiet for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Just worship quietly. Do you have to be a number one no matter what it is? Like no, but I'm God's favorite. Like that doesn't exist in any religion. Not really.
There's not a self and other help section.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's, I have friends in recovery, and it's just they get so much. Like I love, like Dak Shepard openly is like, I did this podcast because I want people to feel as good as I do feeling like when I leave a meeting, and it's like, yeah, I get that. It does boost you up, and therapy makes you feel that way too. But it is that thing where people like, they're like, why don't we bring this outside? We need more people. You should go to a meeting. Like, the second A stands for something, right? Do you know what the second A? Would you stop trying to put a camera on fucking everything? And
that's so true. That's like when I leave therapy, I feel like when I walk out of, because I do therapy online and I do it in my office where I'm right now. Then I'll walk outside and I just expect butterflies to land all over me. I just have my arms extended. Yeah. And then I'll have somebody pull out in front of me. So right where I turn out of my office, there's another driveway. And so I'll pull out going fast and someone will pull out in front of me and they'll stop at the railroad tracks. I'm just like, you motherfucker. And it's all gone. I'm just like, oh, can't wait for next week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a fun moment.
The minute you get out into public, someone will fuck it up. Someone will do something. I was laughing at myself about the amount of arguments I have with no one in my head. That of course you just win completely. I think Mulaney had a joke about that. But it's like, why am I creating beef? Why is there a constant need to be arguing with someone in my head or to settle old scores or whatnot?
Right.
I think we project that on so many people, but that's why you shouldn't drive like an asshole, because then you become that person in the person's head, or
exactly.
The person who I'll take my kid to the store, and there'll be that person who just won't move out of the way. They know I'm there. They're looking at their phone. They're in a grocery aisle, there's a little health food store, like tight aisles. Most people, oh, whoa, shoot, excuse me, and I'll move. I know I'm the biggest, obstacle with me plus this stroller. But there's that person that's just like, no, but I just have to finish entering this whatever, this text. And it's just like, I'm gonna you're not fooling anyone. I know you see me.
Right. It's never a text. It's always like, I just have to finish refinancing my house online with 2 bars. So hopefully it keeps buffering and gets through.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I'm on Rocket Loan or whatever. To see if this mortgage goes through.
Yeah.
You are someone who went their own road. Like, I had Dan Cummings on, and
sure.
I had, and I think, I would say, Tom and Christina in a massive way did that sort of thing where it's kind of like they went their own thing. And I remember you were someone who I was like, oh, they just live where they want to live.
Sure.
They're not on the coasts because they're doing clubs and making records and specials and things. And there's a thing of it reminded me of when I left Chicago, there were people that are like, no, I'm just not going to leave Chicago. I'm just going to do theater here. And I was like, oh, that's great.
Right.
I like that you can find, artists that are just, still trying to get out to the masses and doing it, but not having to be in a certain place or go
Sure.
by. The reason why a lot of people, if we're honest, have moved to New York and moved to Los Angeles is not only because, that's where the business is. They've been told. Right. They've been told to by their reps.
Right.
And that's just I won't say going away, but it's definitely diminishing. And I think it's creating a more basic equality, which I'm enjoying. So I think you were one of the first people to just kind of casually do that and have done really well by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it had to do with my kids. I didn't want my kids on a coast because it's like to leave your family to go work on the road is one thing,
right?
But then to leave them in a strange spot they didn't ask to move is even weirder, I think. So
right.
So we ended up moving when we had our daughter. Ended up moving back to our hometown because my ex-wife and I went to school grew up together. And so her parents are here, my mom is here, and it just made it a lot easier for me to leave.
Right.
And then also, the stand-up that I fell in love with, it was just stand-up and it was just albums. So it wasn't all of this getting into movies and getting on TV and having a sitcom stuff. It was, because I watched Roseanne, but I kind of separated her stand-up with her show, even though it was based on it. Yeah. It's still like, well, this is a TV show and this is a completely different entity over here. Yeah. And that's all I really ever wanted to do anyways. So just to live in LA to pay higher rent to do stand-up seemed very silly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were already broken in. You had clubs you were playing, which is still, I was always an actor too, so it makes sense for me to be here. And
exactly.
I do like it, but I make my money on the road. Sure. I am fascinated when I meet someone who makes a living at acting. I'm always just like, look at you go. like literally, not even, right. I'm not being facetious. It's because if I book a role, it happens about as often as I get a winning scratch ticket. Like, oh, that's exciting. I can't live off scratch tickets, and I don't scratch them every day. So it's to me, it's fascinating when I meet, and I've people who I've met online and we follow each other and stuff. And I'm just like, you're always on something. God bless you. That's so great.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous in the least.
I'd like to say there are people that believe they can live off scratch offs and they're always at the gas station 2 seconds before me. So it's like, you're just going to scratch that right there, huh? With the change, you're not going to step aside or anything. Didn't I see you at a health food store with Braunger? Are you?
You again, sir? I had my favorite yesterday was I went to I got a booster shot at CVS.
Nice.
And I forgot my goddamn vaccination card, so they didn't write the thing on it. I'm like, that's more important than the actual shot, probably. I already have two.
So
I
now
gotta show this thing.
you have a ghost booster.
Yeah.
Great.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go home and get it. This CVS is maybe 2 miles away. So I drive home, get some stuff done. I drive back, and all I have to do is get this thing, and I go in the pickup line. This guy is paying for his prescription. He has a Ziploc bag full of change. Just these 1, 2, and not. It'd be one thing, and I am judging. It'd be one thing if the dude was like in very shabby clothes, and this is how he can pay for his prescription. God knows the health care program in America needs some serious upkeep. No, dude's doing fine. Just brought his change from he's that guy that's holding up a line of 20 people and turns back and goes, "It's money, okay? Yeah, it's money." It's yeah, that's not our point, man. We know it's money, but you could be more considerate. And
maybe it's just his little mini protest against big pharma. It's like, you will get this shit in pennies.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this CVS employee that's not even a pharmacist have to count all this shit out and probably quit. And that is how I will stick it to the healthcare system. Like that. I mean, oh God, I feel so bad for people during work for planes or have to talk directly to the public and retail and stuff, and being like, can you just please? I'm sorry. Can you put a mask on? Ugh. And then the person just throws a fucking fit, and you're like, ugh. Like,
I saw the funniest scene on an airplane. A flight attendant goes up to a guy sitting in Comfort Plus, and I am very lucky. I'm very lucky when it comes to traveling because I do it so much because I know there are no shows where I live ever. So if I'm doing a show, I'm traveling, and so I get upgraded a lot.
Me too.
So this woman goes over and goes, "Sir, you actually have to have your mask over your nose and your mouth for the duration of the flight. It's just for the safety of people around you." And he goes, "Well, I don't have to do that." And she kind of backs up and looks at him weird and goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I had no idea." And then she goes to the intercom system at the front of the plane and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, huge announcement. Mr. Delta is on the flight today with us." Now I'm sliding down my chair laughing, and everyone knows who it is. And so then she goes, "He's so considerate. He didn't even take up a first class seat. He's sitting back in Comfort Plus." I mean, that is a real, genuine owner of a company, loves his people. And now everyone's just like looking at him, and he slowly pinches his mask and pulls it over his nose.
Oh my
God. As soon as he did, Matt, PA off. So she was mid-sentence. As soon as he put it over his nose, she clicked it and was done.
Dude.
Didn't rub it in any further. It was magical.
Oh,
it was so funny.
That's so good. And it's like, and in my mind, I was like, was that you, Chad? Because that sounds like a bit of yours.
No, I know it does. Getting
and you're
in trouble in public. Yeah.
It sounds like you making fun of one of your sons. Of you. And that is my dumbest joke that I'll do. Like the longest, company, not even a joke I'll do for real, but like something like, it's something as stupid as like, wait a minute, Ron, the coffee bean and tea leaf is here? Like something, like that's a family name. Yeah. I love that. Mr. Delta.
Oh, I was dying. And then I go, "Listen, I can't imagine you're not going to get in trouble for this, but this is the first survey that I've ever been given that I will fill out."
Yes.
Because you're going to take some heat for this from some people that don't agree with how you handled it.
Of course.
And you're going to get at least one yes vote.
Oh yeah. And I would have given her, I think I don't have anymore, but like, when you get your like medallion status, they come with those little cards and you can hand them.
Yes, right.
When you give someone that, they're like, man, like that's status for them.
It's like a golden ticket from a candy bar.
Absolutely. Like that's a like, you're all right, kid. It's like a flick of a quarter from Bogart, they like love it.
Mean Joe Green throwing his jersey.
Completely. Oh my. Yeah. It's funny. I think some people snap hilarious.
Yep.
Some people snap. I mean, I had a friend in Chicago named Wes who his girlfriend of 9 years broke up with him, and he was a bartender. I was a waiter, and like he didn't care anymore, and he just became so casually he would put nachos out, like someone's nachos come out and he'd go snatchos just to, and walk away. And like the manager's like, Wes, I got to talk to you. And he's like, about what? Your bald head? Like, and everyone's like, like, huh, okay. What? But it's like his delivery was really funny. And I just remember at one point we haven't even closed the bar, but people are leaving. And he's off, like he got cut early. He's on one of the pool tables with like a lit joint and like he's fucking a balloon, like dancing to something. And it's just like, Wes, can you, like, they're just so happy there's no cops in the bar kind of thing.
Exactly.
But it was like, I would be crying laughing because it's like he became a different person. Where,
yeah, I mean, 9 years, that's a long time to get rid of that 9-year thing in your head.
Yeah. This is back when only maybe, a fifth of us had cell phones, when they were still like new small ones.
Right. Yeah.
It was like a year before I had one or something. And he'd be in the basement on the payphone, like by where we put change our clothes in the lockers and stuff, and just be like, you'd be down there and he'd be like, I don't get it. I don't see why. I don't know what's changed. And you're like, oh, like just changing as fast as you can. Like, I can't be around this. There's this horrific energy. But it happened, and he just became the funniest guy at work. And there was a lot of competition. I work with a lot of hilarious people. Okay, so are you single then, or?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Yep.
Right on. Yeah. Do you meet people on the road?
Not really. That terrifies me a little bit.
Dude, same. People always were just like, so you hook up with people on the road? I'm like, no. Like even in my younger, wilder days, I really wouldn't. It's just weird.
I watched The Natural when I was very young with Robert Redford.
Sure.
And he got shot and fell 3 stories to almost his death in a hotel room. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm okay. I love having fun at the bar, but
yeah,
I'm just like, I'll take an elevator up to my room by myself.
Yep. Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not going to a second location with any of you. I'm sorry. I don't.
Exactly.
It's inviting. I know how Sam Cooke died. I'm not putting myself on an elevated level here, but
no, but we love you. And it's like, I also know how Selena died. So
right. Yeah.
None of this is going to work for me.
Oh, that's always, yeah, I've talked about this on the show. Like, I remember Greg Proops said that he's like, I will drink with the staff and everything, but I'm not going anywhere else. And it's just like, yeah, that's really how I am. If I do, I'm going alone. I'm going to go clear across town in an Uber and just have like a decompression beer or two and then go back to my hotel. But like, it is wild when you're at the club bar and it's like after the second show and you're just hanging out and someone's like, where are you going now? You're like, I'm nowhere with you, crazy eyes. Like,
yeah, to call security. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah, I'm not going for your exciting night out. It doesn't sound fun to me. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I just, it's a safety thing. And, I've been very lucky because a lot of my, I don't want to call it success, but has come from Pandora.
Sure.
And so people are listening and they're not seeing me.
Yes.
Same, so there are times where before a show, I can go to a bar right next door to the club.
Yes.
And people be like, hey, you going to the Chad Daniels show? And it's like, yeah, I am. No clue. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't get away with it after because clearly they've seen me, but but yeah, it's fun. And also a lot of times when you've been doing it as long as I have, I mean, I've been doing this 23 years minus the year and a half for lockdown. And I've made friends almost in every city with either, I mean, I'll go to Columbus, Ohio, and 10 guys will come out that used to work at the club. They all have, one's a firefighter, one runs the Wendy's Corporation, one runs like a big clothing deal that they have that started in Columbus, and they'll all come out still.
Cool.
And we'll hang out. And so when you have those relationships, it's like you don't really have to go out with someone on the road anyways, because it's like I feel like you're going to get a lot of the same questions.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes you just want to have a beer. I mean, I've had a beer at the club before the staff is done with a fan and just been like, if the guy's like, hey, so what's your favorite thing about comedy? And I go, oh, I don't know, just, the regular stuff. How about you? What's your favorite thing about your job? And then I just turn it right back on them and just let them talk. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, most people are not crazy. They're totally
completely
whatever.
agree. Right.
But everybody likes relatability. And I think that's why comedians hang out with comedians. I mean,
yeah. And I'm also a big fan of the phrase, it only takes one.
Yeah.
I don't need to sift my way through a bunch of non-crazy people to
Yes.
find the one person that loves strangling others in an alley.
Yep. Yeah. They're out there. You look at any crowd, you're like, yep, you're in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Yeah.
But so, okay, well, we have, it's always weird to get to this transition, but
Sure.
One of the fun things about this show is that I don't know what the calls will be. I haven't heard them.
Yep.
You haven't heard them. So we
Yep.
listen to them together. But I always ask, like, because I don't really get asked for advice. I don't know why I do this. It's just a fun little hook. I do enjoy it. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. But except maybe sometimes for comedy stuff. And we generally try to sift those out because the answer is always the same. Just do it until you get better and someone will learn of you.
Yep.
The fucking end. But there's no magic potion. But do you get asked advice? I mean, I'd imagine, I imagine because you are Dad Chaniels. You do have the kids.
Sure. I get asked about, some parenting stuff only because I started well before any of my friends.
Right.
So I'll get asked about that stuff. And then I get asked about comedy from people that are wondering how they can make it from a remote location.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And that's such a loaded answer that it's like, listen, I don't know if you've ever been struck by lightning 2 times on different days, but it's that formula. It's that same formula.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's tough, but I'm excited to answer questions. I mean, I'd like to preface this by saying I have almost zero knowledge about everything.
Fair. Yeah.
So I'm stoked.
I feel like we as comedians we're observers and meddlers, non-experts. And that's why it's fun doing this. I always say if you really need someone that's a clinician, this ain't it.
Right. And if we find a question that's asking, what would you do after you fuck something up? I probably have an answer for that.
Good.
Because I've messed up almost every situation.
Great.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm a real pro at that.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, I know we have 4 calls. Let's roll the first one.
Matt, Chad, my name is Jared. I'm looking for some dad/man advice. I'm currently outside of the mechanics getting my car fixed. I'm a little bit, I don't know, I have a bit of buyer's remorse. I know they're doing a good job in there, but starting to wonder if it's something I could have done myself. I have reached the point where with the internet and my inflated sense of ego, I feel like I can do most jobs myself. What are some things that you have found are better to be done yourself as a man, as a dad, as the provider of your household? What should I do? And what is the stuff that I should leave to the professionals? For God's sake, by all means, do not touch that. I await your response. I appreciate your show. Thank you both.
That's a great question.
Really great.
I mean, if we want to touch on just the automotive part of it right away,
sure.
I would say if your car was made after 1995, you have no choice but to leave it to the experts.
Yep.
Because now we're talking about computer chips and everything like that. I mean, depends what it is. Can you change a tire? Can you do that stuff? But even like changing oil on the new stuff, you have to reset it and you have to do all this stuff.
Yep.
I used to have a 1980 Dodge Omni, and my grandpa showed me how to change the oil on that. And when it ran out of gas, I knew how to get it started. I could pour a little gas in this, one little area to get it started. And it was great. It was easy because you could look in a book and it was still the same. But now when you're talking about computer chips and everything else, I mean, if I were to dig around under the hood of a car built after, well, let's just say 2000.
Yes.
I would total the car by touching one thing.
Yeah. 100%. And cars have memory now. So I had this one mechanic that I went to for like God, years, the first couple years living in LA. And he was, good, but he had checked something and not registered that he did that with kind of, which is, I guess, part and parcel. You have to, there's technically stuff you have to as a mechanic.
Sure.
And like, I ran into a bind and I had to go to a nearby mechanic. I couldn't go back to this dude. And the guy was like, someone checked this and didn't, the dude did something shady. And I went to back to the other mechanic and was like, hey man, he said you blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I didn't think you'd go anywhere else. And it was like, yeah, but did you break the fucking law, man? That's not it was like, did you steal from me? How'd you find out? That's not the question I'm asking. So it's like, yeah, exactly. I always err on the side of, in terms of mechanics and in terms of any maintenance, err on the side of less headaches.
Yes.
If you can afford it. Definitely
Correct.
Don't get juiced. Don't let someone take advantage of you. Do your research. Talk to friends about people they use for home repair and all this stuff.
Yep.
But if speaking as someone who does so many things badly, like I will hire someone in a heartbeat, but I'll work as hard on finding the right person as I would have on doing the thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't control your lack of knowledge about electrical circuits.
Yeah.
But you can control how much effort you put into finding someone who does have that expertise.
Yeah. When we bought our house, it needed everything. It was exactly where we wanted to live, but it needed, the reason we could afford it is because it needed everything done to it. And so over the next year or two, we replaced, the piping, the wiring. We tore out the entire kitchen and had that rebuilt.
Nice.
And we tore out the entire kitchen. It's like, demolition is something that anyone can do. If you have someone going, don't take out this wall.
Right.
Leave this. There's wiring here.
Right.
So we flew in my wife's dad, who's a plumbing engineer who knows about construction, and was like, okay, so this is fine. And I had a bunch of friends come swing hammers, and it was great. And then I spent weeks shoveling drywall into a wheelbarrow and taking it out into the driveway and putting it in a rented dumpster. So it's like, I did the labor, but I just didn't have the skill.
Yeah. I mean, your wife's dad reminds me a lot of my plan to be a grandpa. It's to stand back.
Yep.
And point out where the stuff goes for the sandcastle. I mean, it's the same thing. So
absolutely,
you acquire that knowledge throughout your life, and you probably have people like that in your life. Now, going back to automotives, and this is another, if you can afford it, I lease my vehicles because when I go into the shop, I like to go, hey, do this right, you're getting it back. I mean, so like, this is on you. This is going to come back to you.
Yes.
So do it like you would if this was yours.
Totally.
And then a couple things, he asked about, what do you do by yourself? So we talked about home repair.
Right.
I can do a decent amount of stuff, but here's why. Because when I hire someone, I say, hey, I've printed up a contract that releases them of any like insurance stuff for me, but I get to be your employee for the day. So I get to stand around and I get to watch you do stuff, because I want to know how to do it.
Interesting.
Because, I didn't, not to like boo-hoo, but I didn't have people in my life that were showing me how to do that stuff.
Right.
And so it's like, well, I'll just call an expert, hire them.
Yeah.
And then the next time, if it's a little thing, I'll be able to do it. So now I can, do the little things like change a light fixture or do some plumbing if I need to. Like my pipe that goes out to the hose on the side of the wall, the spigot.
Yeah.
That burst because, like an idiot, I didn't shut the valve off. And so then the next summer I opened up the spigot and I was like, there's not a lot of pressure coming out of here. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I quick shut it off.
Oh yeah.
And I go inside and I just look in my basement where like below my kitchen sink, and it's just flooding. And I go, all right, well, good news is I can clean this up. I know how to cut that pipe out and redo it. So cool. I think if you have to hire somebody, and if they will allow it, ask if you can watch, ask if you can learn something.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And if they do blanch at that, that's a bad sign,
Yeah, right.
Because it's a cottage industry. I learned these entire companies and blanket companies that other companies pay a fee to that are taking advantage of people that don't know anything about home improvement.
Sure.
Because, we had, this house was built in 1926. And so even the door frames are weird. So we wanted to get new doors. And they're like, we got to, make this one smaller or taller, like all this weird stuff that only like specialists kind of do.
Sure.
And we had a friend who really didn't know, was like, oh, there's this company you can call and they'll find a contractor for you. And we called and they would send us these bozos who were like, would like set a price and be like, oh, we can build you a gate and all this stuff and promise the moon and be like, here's the rate, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, okay, that sounds decent. He's like, I'll get the contract. I'm like, I'm not agreeing yet, man. He's like, oh, okay. And like, this guy's walking around my house and he's like, so you don't do any of this stuff? Like trying to kind of nag me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, man. Like, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, you do know what you're talking about. You're a man's man. And the dude's younger than me. Right. And these guys they measured the door and they're like, no problem. And I'm like, okay, guys, we got your proposal. We'll let you know. And the guy's like, let me just check the door. He measured the door so many times. He kept coming back to measure the door that I'm like in the kitchen, like, I'm going to throw him down the fucking stairs. I'm so tired of him being here. I want to start cooking dinner. Yeah. And my wife's like, just relax. But I was like, I realized it clicked. I was like, oh, his boss said, don't come back without a yes. Okay. Sure. So he just keeps, can I just I'm like, no, man, you got to go. And he's like, but if I could, nope. Like, it's that thing where he's just like, fuck. You can tell because they work for these guys that are just like, oh, these guys are dummies. They don't know anything about their house and stuff. Yep. So like, it really is just educate yourself and all about referrals. Don't find someone online. Anytime you go to one of those companies that sends out freelancers, and the freelancer has to measure anything more than twice, you're just like, am I in an episode of The Sopranos? Who the fuck sent you? Yeah, this is... You're not even a real like home improvement guy. I'm going to be paying you so many times, and this door's never going to get done. You're going to disappear. Yeah, for sure. I would say one more thing about doing things yourself. Since this guy has kids, if you can swing it, like I don't know this guy's life at all, but I think cooking on your own is big. Number one, it's healthier than going out. I know going out is fun. I understand that. And I am the order pizza king of the world. But when you have kids, if you can get them in the kitchen cooking, it's going to be healthier, but it's also the greatest way to trick your kids into having conversations with you. Yeah. It's a great way to be able to talk to them about their lives because they don't even think they're doing it. They're just like, oh, we're cooking dinner and having conversation, but you're learning so much stuff about their daily life. Absolutely. I mean, there's a reason why people talk about the opening scene of Pulp Fiction so much. One reason it works is because it's life. They're not talking about, so we're going to go murder these guys. We're going to shoot them for the boss. Yep. Okay. Do we have guns? No, that's not how life works. They're like, right. So you just got back from Europe. I did. No, it's weird. The little differences. Like that's what you, and so this kid's not talking about how cooking a steak or grilling vegetables. Right. He's talking about, he's completely focused on that. So the real him comes out, which is exactly. Cool. Yeah. It's pretty slick, dad trap. I love it. I'm definitely using that. Absolutely. Well, hope that helps, caller. Caller number 2.
Hey, Matt and Chad. My name is Erica Mernon, and I'm telling you my first and last name because I think that relates partly to my problem. Again, Erica Mernon. Throughout my whole life, starting at least kindergarten, maybe before if I have memories from before that, people have called me Erin. Teachers, coworkers, doctors, even a notary not too long ago was looking at my driver's license and said, Erin, can you please sign this? And I said, no, but Erica can sign it. And I'm just so sick of it. Sometimes people call me Jessica or Sarah or Martina or some oddball names, but the majority of my life, Erin. My name, Erica, is in huge font in my work email signature. It's comically funny and big. And still, people will reply and call me Erin. So do people just see the first two letters of my first name and the last two letters of my last name and forget the rest of it? I don't know. My question to you is, what is a good script to be direct but not necessarily rude to correct people? I appreciate your help. Thanks for all the laughs over the years, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Aaron. Listen, no, the worst. I thank you for calling, and thank you for putting your trust in us with your full name. I will say, as someone who has been called Matt Braunger my entire life, people write it back to me in emails when I've clearly wrote Braunger. It's a phonetically clumsy name. There's no getting away from it. It just will happen. People will say, well, that Matt Brauger's here. What? I've been introduced on stage. I've had it said a billion times. You just have to be graceful about it and correct people. It sucks, but it's kind of like, I feel like we all are dyslexic on a certain level. All of us. We switch words when we see them. We switch consonants. We switch syllables. I don't know. I don't think there's a way for you to, ingrain it in people's heads off the bat. I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. What do you think, Chad?
Well, as someone who gets called Chaniels, and that's on me because I named an album Dad Chaniels, and so I get called
Sure.
Chaniels a lot. So that is the first two letters of my name and the last six, or
Right.
the first three, whatever you want to put the A in. But so just as an aside, I mean, maybe they are doing that. Maybe
Chad,
they
can you
are.
hold on 1 second? Someone just
Yeah.
knocked on my door.
Oh, sure.
But 1 second, sorry. Let's pause, Renee. Hey, brother. How are you, man? Cool. Thanks, brother. Sorry, that was my drug dealer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so go just start again, Chad.
Okay,
As someone who, sorry.
that's fine.
Okay.
As someone who gets called Chaniels a lot, and that is the first few letters of my name and the last of my last, and I did that to myself because I named an album Dad Chaniels. So that's
Right.
that's completely on me, but it does make sense to me. And I remember my neighbor one time, there was a fire truck, there was a fire on the block, and a fire truck was coming, and my neighbor said, "Fuck." And I was just a little kid, and I looked up and he goes, no, I was just abbreviating fire truck. And so, I mean, that is like very funny to me to think that people are doing that with names now. But but I think I don't think you should find a nice way to do it. I think you have, because
Okay.
I don't know. I've never found that when someone goes, "Oh, you know what? It's actually Erica." I don't remember that shit. If someone goes, "You have called me Aaron 3 times. My name is Erica." I go, "Okay, I need to make sure
Yeah.
there's not a 4th time." So,
Good point.
I understand you're in a working situation, but when your name is right there,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a question. Has she told this story around work, and are people fucking with her? Because that could be too.
Yeah.
But if
People
you're
do
asking,
that thing where you're like, you know what annoys me? And then people do
Exactly.
it because they think it's funny.
Yeah.
Like unfunny people do that. Annoying people do that.
yeah, my daughter, I told her a long time ago, my least favorite thing is having someone put their hand under my tit and then flopping it. And now she's probably done it every single day since.
Sure, of course.
So I think that's just how people are. But yeah, as far as like coming up with a way to say it nicely, I don't know that you need to, because it's gotten to a point now where it's obviously it's affecting you if it's been going on since, like you said, even before kindergarten.
Yeah.
I say we put an end to this shit, Erica, and we
You're
get
right.
it right.
Your answer is way better than mine. Yours is much more practical and has results. Mine is like, well, what are you going to do? But like, I don't know. Maybe I need to snap on people more. Like it's where'd you put the G in front of the N? I think it's just mine's a little different. Hers
it's weird
doesn't make any sense, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? It's like
I think if you see the first and last name, also, I'm going to tell you something else. My son, when he was learning to read, would read the first 3 letters of something and then just guess. So it would be like that we'd be reading something that would have thy in it, and he'd be like, this thesaurus. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not even trying. So it could be the fact that people are lazy. It could be the fact that they're messing with you. It could be the fact that they're seeing both names together and they are taking, like you said, the first and the last part of it.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, I mean, I stopped lying February 23rd of 2016. And it has, I know this is weird, but it has been hard to tell some people the truth because it's caused 5 minutes of really uncomfortable turmoil.
Right.
But it doesn't let it go on any further than that.
Yeah.
So if I don't like something, I tell someone straight away. That's like when young guys come up and they go, what'd you think of my set? I go, I should tell you, I stopped lying February 23rd, 2006. So just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I think you should do, Erica. I think you should just go like, be like, what the fuck? Or start calling other people by different names. Now, the fact that you're getting like, people are treating you like La Femme Nikita and you have a different name every week. I mean, that's a little strange to me. That's like you're funny. A spy or some shit. So I don't know what to tell you about that, but I'm only concentrating on the fact that they're calling you Aaron.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I think people are.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And you're right. Call them on it. So hope that helps, Erica. All right. Caller number 3.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Chad. My name's Jackson. First off, you two are probably my favorite comedians of all time, my favorite dads to follow, fellow dad myself. My question for you guys today is, what's your advice on imposter syndrome? I'm a creative, I do a little bit of comedy, video production, that kind of thing, and sometimes I find the harder I try, the louder that voice is in my head that just tells me, what are you doing? You don't deserve this. You don't deserve to be here. So what's your best tip for fighting that voice down and getting past that? Thanks so much, you guys. Chad, can't wait to see you in December. Matt, can't wait to see you whenever you make it back to Portland. You guys have a great day.
Nice.
Thanks, man.
Well, thanks, Jonathan. Just kidding. That's Jackson. I know that. I was just playing off of Erica. Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. That would have been a much funnier.
Call everybody Aaron now.
So I didn't know what the imposter syndrome was. When he said that, I thought it was like when you see a comedian that sounds like another comedian.
Right. Yeah.
Because I will tell you something. After Mitch Hedberg would come to town in Minneapolis, every single person, whether you smoked pot or not, had a little pot giggle at the end of everything they said. So that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
This thing about a voice saying you don't belong here. I mean, I think you just that needs to be a fleeting thought, because you need to just go, well, the fuck I don't, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I said this in the show, but my dad once was like, you know that voice in the middle of the night that's like tells you you're worthless, you're no good? I don't know if there's a devil, but that's him. Like, I was like, it's such a perfect, I mean, it's that thing where you have to think about, like, what good does a thing do? Worrying about a thing doesn't help the thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop you from worrying, but think about what's productive. And you telling yourself that you're no good, let someone else tell you that. And if no one has, you're probably doing all right. I mean, I definitely have those times where I'm just like, I don't like any of my jokes. This sucks. I mean, it's kind of everybody, but you plow through and you have a better perspective after you do your set, and you're like, oh, they are better than I thought, and I did do better than I thought I would. It's just you have to just keep pounding away and not let that stop you.
Jackson, is there anyone in your life that you could put their face on that voice? Is it that's going to inspire you to work harder? Like, I'm a horrible self-critic, but I try not to let it influence my life in negative ways. It's just like, I don't have anyone else to yell at me, so I need to yell at myself to make sure my shit's together.
Right.
And so I make sure that I'm constantly checking myself and whatever else. I mean, because I have a bit where I say, have you ever seen a guy pounding a nail into something and he hits his own thumb and he's like, you fucking idiot? I go, that's his dad talking to him. Like,
Yes.
that's not anger, that's a memory. So I mean, maybe put a face to the name that's telling you ain't shit.
Yeah.
And help it inspire. Maybe it's a coach that you fucking hated in high school or something, but
Yeah, or maybe it's someone who was always a piece of shit and you didn't like, and you were like, fuck him. Like,
yeah,
you know, like some toothless guy that worked at the gas station and talked shit about everybody, and you're like, get it together, man. Like if that guy, like, you know, you're no comedian, you think, it's like, why would I listen to you?
yeah.
You work at the gas station by choice. You never wanted more, you know, like kind of thing. Like that kind of motivation could go kind of like either way.
Or you can turn it funny, like your buddy that got left after 9 years. You could just go, the voice is like, you don't belong here. And it's like, well, then great. I'm going to fuck it up for everybody else. That's fine with me.
Cool.
I got no problem ruining somebody's night.
Yeah, I'm not. It won't go badly for just me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
At my house, we have a phrase that says, we're not going to borrow any worry from around the bend, which means it's like, you just gotta, don't worry about it till some shit happens. So if a voice is telling you you're not shit, wait until you've proven to yourself that you're not shit to worry about that voice. Like exactly. Matt said earlier. Yeah, exactly.
If you're, it sounds like, Jackson, you're making stuff and you're doing stuff, and that's the key to everything. Just produce. That's it. That's really good. So yeah, hope that helps. And then just understand that's in kind of all of our heads. It's just something.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just something you have to learn to control, like a boxer controls their fear. It's just that kind of thing. So, all right. Hope that helps, man. And thanks for the kind words. All right. Caller number 4.
Hey, Matt and Chad. My name is John. My wife and I have had the pleasure of seeing Matt perform out of Brea earlier this year. She still talks about how she's disappointed that she wasn't the one selected to come up and help you out, tend your bit at the end of the show. It was a great show, so thank you for that. Also, we're big fans of Chad. We've had the pleasure of seeing him a few times over the last 4 years at different venues. Always been a good time. Also, big fans of his podcast with Cy. And on that kind of brings me to my point. On that, he sings every now and then. And I'm assuming that Matt could also sing quite a bit, and that's where I need a little help. It's my wife's birthday today, and she would love if you guys could sing a happy birthday duet to her. Her name is Nicole, so if you could help me out, that would be fantastic. Have a great day. Thanks.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nicole. Happy birthday to you. Your cinnamon rolls are fantastic.
We did it.
That was great.
That was great. I like that you didn't blanch. You were just like, fuck it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm up for anything.
I am too. If he was like, please sing Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, no, it's too long, man. You know, like, happy birthday. It's quick. It's in and out. It's easy.
And it's you don't have to pay royalties on it.
Yeah. And I like that we didn't have to get in depth on that one at all. That was easy peasy.
Absolutely.
I have a lightning speed round before you go. So hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
It's a newish thing we do. That I just say Chad's going to come on. Okay. This guy always writes in and writes this, and it's kind of hilarious. Best memory of smoking weed with a fellow comic.
Oh boy. I don't smoke a lot of weed. Same. I will tell you an anti-story. I was smoking in New York with a guy once, and he goes, "Hey, just so you know, maybe since you don't smoke ever, just half puff. And I go, all right, no problem. And I just take the biggest toke. And he goes, we're going to a deli where they serve ham and cheese croissants, but if you don't have your shit together, you'll get screamed at. And so I was in line and these two ladies were talking and I just spaced out on their conversation. And the croissant Nazi started screaming at me. And so I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And I took off and I was trying to push a pull door. So it felt like I was stuck. And that was the first time I ever had a panic attack ever in my life.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting on the sidewalk in New York, which there's nothing dirtier.
No.
And just loving it because I was finally outside breathing fresh air. So that's my favorite and least favorite.
Yeah, that's great. Most of my stories like that involving comedians are like someone gives me a thing. It's just like I never ever should have smoked that ever.
Right.
I feel so out of my head. I'm not enjoying this at all. This one. When's your next special releasing and where can they watch it?
October 7th. I just had a thing that I did. It's called 12th Night. So I recorded an hour, and it was the 12th night I had done comedy in a calendar year.
Wow.
And so it was the hour I had written before lockdown, but didn't record. And I was like, well, I don't want to do these jokes anymore. So let's see how poorly I can do them. And I left all the mess ups in. So you can see me just like staring into space and stuff. It's kind of a fun watch if you want to see behind the fourth wall.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. I like the whole warts and all thing.
Yep.
You know, like when Rory did that Third Man Records album recording where they just the vinyl was getting pressed as he did it. Like, God, no matter what happens. Insane.
Yep.
Love it. Can Chad recommend a good place for a pizza that is not a gas station?
Oh, no. I mean, it's my go-to. You know it is.
Of course.
And they can't get it right. So now what I've decided to do is just accept whatever pizza they give me, no matter what I order. Matt, I'm telling you, I go, can I get pepperoni on half of the pizza? And the guy goes, which half? And I'm like, there's no way this is going to end up correct. But I like trying new things. So now I order something weird and I get something even weirder.
I love it.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Okay, Casey's Pizza or Buffalo Shrimp?
Man, I'll tell you what, I got to go Buffalo Shrimp on this one, but that's with a big yikes.
Okay, fair. That's nice. Just want to say you guys are awesome. Have a great show today. Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Susan. Thanks.
And this is a good one. This will be the last one. Just got married. How do I not fuck it up? That's not loaded at all. And that gives us all the information we need. That's
exactly. Yeah.
We have to have, it's a tradition almost on the show where people will call in and ask for a thing and give no background. And It's like, we're playing the shittiest episode of CSI, me and the guest, where It's like unpacking. Well, it sounded like there, and this one's just written.
Yeah. So, hi guys, Chad Daniels here, caller number 5. Doctor told me I'm dying. How do I not die?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah. How do you not fuck up a marriage? I mean, I don't know. Be nice. And man, you got to communicate even when you fucking want to yell.
Yep.
You know, you're a dick or whatever. You gotta talk it out. I know that's very traditional and we've heard it a million times, but I would say it really, really is.
Yeah. I found when I've made major connections where I've actually worked on a problem I have and kind of been like, you realize, I have a hard time when I'm around, like, let's say your friends, this, and this kind of thing, like these people. And it's like, you realize you get really angry when they're around and you go, oh, wait a minute, why am I? And if you talk to your spouse about that and they go, oh, you're actually thinking about this rather than trying to kick the problem in half with rage or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just really a lot of it is share your process as growth and share your affections for that person and why they mean a lot to you. And just make it clear you're not, as a man, 1 foot out the door.
Right. And like if she's reading a book, if he or she, I guess we didn't get that information. If they're reading a book just ask them about it. You know what I mean? It's little stuff like that where they feel cared about and seen and all of that stuff. If if you have a coworker that's dangling around and feels like they're trying to move in on it, invite your spouse immediately to hang out with that person, just to be like, go fuck yourself, look at this.
For sure. I'll never forget my wife and I met working together, and she was like in a relationship, and we had an on again off again thing, and when we were like finally together, I remember just being like, hey, how was your day? And she was so like, what? Like, obviously she hadn't been asked that by a partner in so long, and you could see her like visibly relax and go, oh, it was pretty tough because this, cause she does work a very high pressure job. And it was like, it's just that thing. I didn't say it in terms of, oh, fuck, I should ask her how her day is. That'll be good for the marriage.
Right.
I just asked as a person. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, that you can extend that past a marriage. If you just have someone you care about and you're like, hey, how are you doing? People are like, wow, not great, or whatever, or really
or you'll get this reaction. I asked a fellow comedian this on the road once. I go, hey, how was your day? What'd you get into? And he goes, what, are we in a relationship? And I'm like, okay, all right, you're hurting right now, and I can see that you're hurting.
You gotta love men. I laugh every time I see liquid death water, tall boy cans of water with the flaming melting skull on it.
Yeah.
A product that is, I'm sure, flying off the shelves, 1,000% created by and for had to get sober bros who drank because they thought self-destruction was manly. 1,000,000%. That is who that product is for.
Yep.
Because they can't, I mean, why would I wrap my hand around a can unless it's super tall and full of something that's bad for me? It's good for me? Well, you should say, it has to say bad for me on the outside.
I want something that looks like Monster Energy drink, but I don't have any more arms to break on my motocross bike, God damn it. So hand me a can of water and we'll deal with it.
And my doctor says all the taurine has affected my brain in ways that will give me dementia way too young. So it's just water from here on out. But it has to look like Monster. Has to look like it, God damn it.
Yeah. I had that in San Francisco. There's a white can and a black can.
Yeah, one's fizzy.
Oh, I didn't know that, because they go, oh, there's a white can and a black can. What's the difference? And I go, the white can's diet, and walked away. And then the person was just like, what? I don't understand what's happening. Right. I didn't know one was fizzy. Now I feel like a real dick. I was just trying to be funny and goofy. I thought they were
better answer. better. One's diet is such a better answer. Someone would make a killing about like, oh, some water is actually makes you gain weight more than another kind of water. Corner the market on this kind of.
I happen to know that Evian water is 7.2 on the pH scale, and that 0.2 will end up on your hips.
It much like how Mountain Dew, and this is true, has a fat enzyme that never leaves your body.
What? Oh, I'm going to tell you something right now. You just rocked my world and made sense of almost everything.
And look, a cook I worked with told me that, but he was one of those guys who knew weird facts that I would check and they would pan out. I'd be like, oh, that's true. He somehow knew that. So it might be bullshit, but it sounds so crazy. Real. I choose to believe it.
So when I was younger, baseball, riding bike all over town, I could end my day with a 2 liter of Mountain Dew and a bag of Twizzlers and sleep just fine. And I think to myself, this is never, and then I'd wake up the next day and sneeze and I'd have 4 abs again. But the reason I didn't have 6 is because I always, no matter how good a shape I'm in, have this little tiny fat reserve around my belly button. I'm going to tell you something. It's that fucking Mountain Dew.
Gotta be.
Oh, I should have been drinking diet water. God damn it.
No, you want that little fat reserve in case you get lost in the desert. You need something to live on for sure.
I guess that makes sense. First of all, now I have plenty, so I could live in the desert for a little while.
I also, side note, love the fact that Mountain Dew is named after moonshine. Like it was a term for high octane alcohol that they made in stills in the woods, and then the soda company was like Mountain Dew, and there had to be some redneck that was like, "Why is it green? I'll try it," and was like, "The fuck is this fizzy sugary bullshit?"
I can't wait till the next time I can't wait till the next time I'm at a bar for trivia and they ask a question about Mountain Dew. I'm going to be like, I sure wish Braunger was here.
Erica Braunger. Where is she now? Well, that's all of it, man. Do you have anything you want to plug before we go?
I mean, if people want to follow me on Instagram, that's where you can get my date, or chaddaniels.com for tour dates. But if you want to follow along, it's that Chad Daniels on Instagram.
Dude, it was so fun having you on. I've been like such a fan of yours, and you've always been, even back when we just had first met, you were always the coolest guy. And like, you were such a win for me when I did Bridgetown, because there were always those comics that I was like, because like me and like 5 people would decide who got in.
Right.
And I'd be like, we got to have Chad, trust me. And people were like, I think his stand-up is funny. I don't really know him. We have a lot of funny people. I'm like, I'm telling you, because there's so many people that would submit and have like a great tape, but it's like, they do fine in the fest. Like,
sure.
Okay. And you came and just wrecked it. Like destroyed. And it was
thanks.
So, not that I thought you wouldn't have, but it was like so vindicating, because it was one of those things where I'm just like, look, like I really could put anyone in I wanted, but I rarely would like kind of use my weight as a founder and be like, they're in, God damn it. It'd be like, it was always up to committee, but it was like you just destroyed. And I'll never forget, like my cousin Leah came with her boyfriend and she was like, God damn it, who is that guy? So it's like,
oh, nice.
You know what I mean? It's always
that's
good
great.
to hear that stuff.
That's great. I just want to say one more thing. About well, first of all, I remember we both got Conan when he was on the Tonight Show.
Yes.
And it was like, I use that as a credit for so long, because it was like only 13
100%.
Comedians. And so that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was, that's when I really started following along, and just like lights out, so funny. I know now we're fluffing each other's nuts, but it's absolutely true. And you just recorded in Nashville, right?
Nashville,
you shot a special. So I can't wait to see that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I think we did it with the same company. So if anyone wants to check out 12th Night, it's that thing I was talking about where I did it 12th.
Dude, absolutely.
On the 12th night. So you can find that on YouTube, or it's on anywhere you listen to comedy. So check that out.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And enjoy. What state do you live in?
I live in northern Minnesota. That's why I'm wearing a jacket and a beanie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. I love Minnesota, man. So that's
great.
Yeah, it's a great place. So, dude, enjoy the independence, and just get as fat as you want.
Oh, I can't wait. When I take the stage for the first show on my Empty Nest tour,
yeah,
I'm going to be 400. They're going to have to wheel me up and just prop me on a beanbag, and I'm just going to.
I want the please welcome, and there's like, yeah, oh. Like you hear the petering off of the applause. Oh, like the concerned looks, like the times, and like we got to wrap it up. But the times you and I we've opened for people and various shit road gigs where the headliner got way too faded before he made the stage, and like see the look on people's faces, the pain. Oh, he's really fucked up. But for you, it'll be like, his unhealthy level of weight.
The applause will die down. You'll just hear a lady in back go, "Chad ate Chad." That's all it'll say.
Or a drunken like she didn't think anyone could hear her. Chad ate Chad.
Yeah, right.
And it's as loud as that. Like it just as loud as a note sang in opera in a hall. Like everyone hears her. Too drunk to realize.
Hey, thanks a ton for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, man. Man, Chad's the best. Check him out. Check out 12th Night. And if he comes to your town, please see him. It's always a blast. If you have any need for advice, want to call in anonymously, please do. We always need calls. Tell your friends, text them, be like, hey, call Braunger, leave a message. I don't want to hear your bullshit anymore. I can't deal with your problems. Braunger and his guests will. Call 323-763-0228. Tell your friends. 323-763-0228. And thanks.
This Might Help with Matt Braunger was created and hosted by me, Matt Braunger. Produced by Outer Circle Media. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.